Hi, hello everyone. I am Dr.Visweswaraiah S, Assistant Professor of English, working in Government First Aid College, Kudingal, which is affiliated to Tumkur University, Karnataka. So, dear viewers and my dear students, in this video, my topic is on Gulliver Travels Part 1, The Voyage to Lilliput. There, Chapter 7 and its summary and analysis. So, let us have some of the important elements which I have already covered in the previous videos, means in the previous chapter, like in chapter 5, 6. Look at that. Sorry. So we see how Gulliver is very much attracted to the customs and the culture of Lilliputs, and in Lilliputians are also very cordial to Gulliver. Even Gulliver is though he is he has a giant body, but he just behaves very politely with the Lilliputians, and even Lilliputians offer him many food, clothing and everything. So what happens when the emperor of Lilliputians he asks Gulliver to help him and even to just give more support for Lilliputians against Blefuscu. And here somewhere emperor he just feels that Gulliver showing some mercy with the enemies, or in the enemy kingdom, that is Blefuscu, and even emperor he thinks that he is not obeying the rules, or is not obeying the orders which is already made an agreement to set him free. So in this regard, emperor and the government officials, they somewhere feel that Gulliver is crossing the limit, or they indirectly planning Gulliver to kill. Okay, so in this situation, Gulliver visits each and every places of the Lilliputians, and even he explains their tradition and culture, how they practice, and even explains about the policies of the government, means policies of the kingdom. And okay, look at that. These are the things happening in with Gulliver's story. So we see that how immediately after this, what happens in the chapter 7, and how Gulliver receives emperor's order, and even emperor's and the government policies. So with regard to in the same time, he gets a notice, or call from Blefuscu, the kingdom, where that he asks for to visit Blefuscu and to just get their hospitality in Blefuscu. So in this regard, Gulliver is preparing to go to Blefuscu, So that is how this chapter begins with that. Okay. Students and viewers, let us see what happens in the screen, in the seventh chapter and on the screen. That is, I'm going to just show you some of the slides on the screen so that you can able to understand more. Okay, please. Okay. So look at that. This is the title which speaks about Jonathan Swift's Gulliver Travel. As I told you that part 1, the voyage to Lilliput, chapter 7 summary. Okay, let us go to the how this chapter begins. See, Gulliver, as I told you that, prepares to leave Lilliput, but is so interested in their practices. Is very much interested with the practices of Lilliputians, and even the language he likes, even how everything of Lilliputians he likes it very much. So Gulliver goes on to describe interview that precipitates his departure from Lilliput. He's going to explain everything, that how he feels very uncomfortable to leave Lilliputians, because Lilliput, so much attachment he got, and even he feels that it is very difficult to leave Lilliput, right? While he prepares to make his trip to Blefuscu, a court official tells Gulliver that he has been charged with the treason by enemies in the government. See, what happens here? Just the preparations are going on to go to Blefuscu. Gulliver is preparing for that. One of the government officials, he comes and tells Gulliver that so he has been charged for treason of the enemies in the government, because that so what happened, and each and everything what is happening in the government he is going to explain explain Gulliver, and look at what happens. Gulliver's sentenced to death. That is very important here. The official who has come to tell Gulliver regarding treason, he is told that his sentence is to have his eyes taken out and starved to death. See how the sentence passed. That so that sentence is very crucial, that to have his eyes taken out and starved to death. That is the decisions on the sentence passed in the Lilliputians government. In fear of his near sentence, because that somewhat though Gulliver is able to face all these things, but somewhere he feels very fear about the decisions or the sentence. So what happens here? Gulliver quickly leaves off to Blefuscu. So he just gets preparation quickly, and he leaves off to Blefuscu. Even the official who has come to tell him about the sentences, he shows Gulliver the document, even calling for his execution. Look at that, for his execution. He is charged with a public urination. Look at that, on what basis this charge or execution passed. That Gulliver is charged with public urination, because that though the intention of the urination it is explained, because he urinated to just put off the fire, but it is, they consider that it is, against their law. So they charged with the public urination, one thing, and even they charged for refusing to obey the emperor's orders to seize the remaining Blefuscu ships, because here what he does, Gulliver, what he has done here is, after the seizing some of the ships of the enemies, Blefuscu, the emperor still he orders Gulliver to capture the remaining or to seize the remaining ships, but somewhere Gulliver shows concerns on them, and even he has shown mercy on them. So that is also against the rule, because it is told in the beginning, or when Gulliver has set him free, then the emperor laid down some of the rules or laws to bound. There it is also said that he has to help in any, or he has to defend Lilliputians at any moment of the time. So this is also the disobeying the law. And one more thing is aiding enemy ambassadors and traveling to Blefuscu. Look at that here. They thought that this aiding enemy ambassadors also is an offense, and even traveling to Blefuscu without permission of the government is again also against the law or the rules, or the customs and traditions of this Lilliputians. So in this background, Gulliver has been issued with a sentence, charged for this kind of sentence, okay, like that. See, that is how it is told, and we'll see that the operation to blind Gulliver. It is again important to note, Gulliver is told that Red Russell has asked for his sentence to be reduced, because Red Russell is very kind to Gulliver. So Red Russell asked him to the sentence to be reduced, instead calling not for execution but only to putting his eyes out. See, that is how this punishment has been agreed upon, along with a plan to starve him to death slowly. See, it's indirectly the government obeyed or accepted Red Russell's request, putting him to death only to make him blind. But indirectly, it is a hidden plan that after punishing him, after blind him, so that is how along with the plan to starve him to death slowly, because if Gulliver is not provided with the food, see what happens, slowly he nears to the death and he dies. See, this is how this operation to blind Gulliver is getting important in this chapter. So the official even tells Gulliver that the operation to blind him will take place in 3 days. Look at that. The official who has come to tell him about his sentence, he even tells him that this will take within the 3 days of time. So within 3 days, they will just start this operation. operation to blind Gulliver. No? So in this regard, fearing this resolution, Gulliver crosses the channel and arrives in Blefuscu. What happens, See, anyway, Gulliver has been, planned to, to come to Blefuscu. So he just, because of this news, Gulliver crosses the channel and arrives in Blefuscu to, to rescue him or to escape from the Lilliputians and its order. See, from its execution or its, sentence. Okay, so so in this way, Gulliver crosses the channel and arrives in Blefuscu. So that is how this chapter ends with that. And let us see some of the analysis of this particular chapter. Okay, so as I told you that here, in general, the customs of Lilliputian explained here that Swift means the writer presents as good or those that contribute to the good of the community or the nation, as opposed to those that promote individual rights or freedoms. Okay, even ingratitude is punishable by death. Look at that. So that is how in the case of Gulliver, he is somewhere he is not showing his gratitude to the kingdom. So in that case, even this is very punishable thing. Ingratitude is punishable by death. See, by death, punishable by death. That is how it is. Very, very small mistakes or very small, we can say that violations are very much punishable in this kingdom. That is how Swift, shows it in, and if, for instance, because anybody who would treat a benefactor badly must be an enemy to all mankind. See, look at that. This is how interestingly in Gulliver's behavior, that is not only for a particular one. It is he becomes an enemy immediately to all the mankind in the Lilliputians. That is how this chapter plays important role. Okay, even children are raised by the community rather than their parents, because the parents are thinking only their own appetite when they conceive children. See, like that, all these things. Even children are raised in public nurseries, but parents are financially penalized if they burden a society by bringing children for whom they cannot pay into the world. So these are the things, we just see that how, small mistakes or small violations leads to the death, leads to such kind of, extreme punishment of the kingdom leads here. So that is very important to focus here. Okay, that is how, Jonathan Swift, he wanted to bring such kind of elements in the chapter. So that is how it makes it chapter is very important. Okay, so like this. Okay, this is my references. Right, like this. Yeah. So like this chapter 7 of the voyage to Lilliput is play a very important role, and even it plays important in this it deals with Gulliver, how though he has attachment with the Lilliputians. Here in this chapter, he leaves Lilliput and Lilliput and even comes to Blefuscu. So like this, and we can just see that after immediately he comes to Blefuscu, and there he faces what happens to him and how he feels at Blefuscu. So this will be, we can just I'm going to explain in the next video. Okay, so this is about chapter 7 of Voyage to Lilliput of Gulliver Travels. Okay, so dear viewers, thank you so much for listening to me. Kindly subscribe and watch. Thank you.